Right, I'm going to hand over to Andy. I met Andy about 18 months ago, would it be now? I guess it would. And he struck me as a nice guy. You know, when you meet people, you go, this is a nice guy. Anyway, so obviously a gentleman, a nice guy and a gentleman, but also very knowledgeable. And he's got something that he's going to take us through today, which I think will really segregate us into different personality types. But I'll hand over to Andy.
Thank you. John's just going to show a quick video first, just to give you an overview of what I'd like to talk to you about.
Ever wondered why you click with some people and others drive you crazy? It could be your boss, your partner, even your kids. Anyone can upset your day by their annoying, frustrating or confusing comments or behaviour. We developed Click Colours to help you find out why this happens and how to boost your relationships. Personalities and behaviours are very complex, and we wanted to give you an easy way of understanding the 4 core sub-personalities that we all have. Let me introduce you to 4 interesting characters who all have very different ways of seeing the world. Yuri sees everything as exciting and fun and is a risk taker. Gail's key task each day is to tick off her checklist and has big problems with Yuri, who often ignores the rules. Rose just loves listening to others, has lots of friends, yet is often accused of being too gullible and trusting, mostly by Bert. And finally Bert. Bert is logical and rational and is often frustrated when dealing with Rose, Yuri and Gail, who step outside Bert's logical view of the world on a daily basis. There is a Yuri, Gail, Rose and Bert in all of us, and depending on what task we're doing, here are some examples. Yuri dominates in creative and free-flowing discussions. Gail enjoys planning and organising meetings. Rose blossoms in team building, and Bert focuses best analysing data. So here is the problem. We all have personal preferences and comfort zones, and often find it hard to appreciate the other's point of view, especially when it doesn't match our own. So if you want to click with people, you need to know what makes them tick, and Click Colours is the new, quick, fun and exciting tool that allows you to explore and understand how everyone's thinking preferences influence behaviour.
Thanks, John. Right, now to start with, I'm just going to hand you out a set of cards. So if you'd like to take one and pass them down, how many have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 10 there, so if I just give 2 this side, we should be about right. I'm not very good with numbers, but that... Now don't open them, please. No one's allowed to open them at this point in time. We're all got to start on a level playing field. So, see, I told you I was no good with numbers. So I'll just grab one back. Perfect. Okay, now we run this session all the time. We run it with students, we run it with executives, we run it with all types of things. It's a team building program, but ideally it's getting to look at ourselves. So it's an inward journey of a little bit of self-discovery. So now what I'm going to do, when I say go, I'm going to give you the same amount of time as I give 16-year-old students to open the cards and put them in the order of the one that is most like you at the top, all the way through to the one that is least like you at the bottom. So do we understand what we've got to do? All right? We haven't got a lot of time. So the one that's most like you on the top, here we get starting again. Oh gee, I did the instructions were when I said go, there's always one in the room. All right, okay. So I'm going to give you 90 seconds, go. Now, let me just explain what we're going to do next. There's probably some people in the room that are going, hang on, Florin, what are you doing? You're still reading them. So let me explain what we're going to do. There's probably some people in the room at this time that are thinking, 90 seconds, you're crazy. There's no way I can make a decision in 90 seconds. I need to actually confer with my Myers-Briggs. I need to actually create a spreadsheet. I need to talk to my partner. I need to do a whole load of other things before I can actually make a decision. If you're thinking any of these thoughts whatsoever, when we move, I would like those people to pick their cards up and move over here to the blue corner. Part of what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to get you guys do a lot of the work, right? So we're going to be moving around and we're going to be fairly interactive. So the people who put the blue card at the top, I would like them to move over here. For the others that are thinking, well, I don't know what John and Alan are doing. They always have professional speakers in here, and they've got this guy here, he can't even hang cards up. We've got one at the back that's on an angle. It was the first thing I noticed when I walked in here, and it's frustrating me like crazy. So the people that want to straighten that up, or they're fairly organised, methodical, and want to just tidy around after people, pick your cards up and move over to the green corner. There's probably some people in the room that are thinking, we don't get a chance to talk about each other very often. This is really nice. I'm really enjoying this, and I wonder, I love listening to people. I love talking to people. So yeah, this is really fun. So for those people, if you'd like to move over to the red corner, for the rest of you that are going, come on board with this, I already know what I am, I'm a yellow. For those guys, please pick your card up, move over to the yellow cards, but please remember to bring the other 3 with you. Okay, so let's go, guys.
Fellow Reds.
Well, still, you'd be one of those.
Well, almost split. Almost an even split.
Yeah. Very interesting. Hang on just 2 secs, guys. Now what I'd like you to do now, so part of what we're going to do, and the beauty about these sessions is because we're going to be talking about the most important person in the room. And that's not me, it's not Alan, it's not John, it's you guys, right? We're the most important person in our own world. The more that we understand ourselves, the better person we can be, the better we can communicate with people. So what I want you to do, just in your little groups, I'll go and help Tim on his own, is just have a little talk amongst yourselves and go, why do I think that I'm yellow, red, blue and green? And then what I'll do, I'm going to give you 5 minutes just to have a talk, share some stories, right? Then I'm going to bring the group back together and I'm going to get one person, a spokesperson from each group, and probably as when you get you guys to do it, not Alan or not John, get other people involved, right? And to give us a story, what's why we're in a blue corner, why we're in a yellow corner. Just a couple of stories that we can share with the group. So we clear with that? Perfect. So let's and get your stories. Have a real, really open up. And I'm going to go and help Tim. You've got a couple of minutes to start expressing why you're in these groups. Right? So it's really interesting because I'm high yellow.
Yeah.
I've got some fantastic trainers, and the trainer that's been with me for about 14 years, she's high green.
Right. Okay.
And I'd go, Dan, I've got a great idea. I want you to do boom, 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 and I'd be off, right? And then I wouldn't give her any detail. I wouldn't give her any information. It used to annoy the crap out of her. So I'd go back a week later, says, how did you go? Hadn't done a thing. She said, you've given me no information. You got excited about some stupid idea. Your arms were going all over the place, But then she would give me reams and reams of writing that she knew I wouldn't read. I just want bullet points. So we actually understood that if I need to talk to her, I've got to lower my tonality, look her in the eye, stop doing all these, stop getting excited, but then give her bullet points. Right? Improved our relationship overall. She understood that it was no good giving me reams and reams of paper because I would read a couple of bullet points and that would be it. So she would then give me the information that I needed in bullet points, And to this day, she still can't help herself. She puts in brackets underneath, FYI, I know you won't read it, but it's the explanation.
Right,
So
okay.
I've got it as a reference.
Yeah.
So when you understand about yourself, you can deal with others differently.
Sure, okay.
Anyway, I'm going to get the group to get together. If you give one of those examples, so stay here and give one of those examples that best relates to you as a green.
Okay.
Okay, guys, if I can get you all back together. Hello. Reds, I know you're really into, sharing stories. All right, so what I'm going to do is get you to share a couple of stories. Interestingly enough, I was talking to Tim. The cards are displayed in your left brain, right brain, okay, and also too, quite often within organisations, within families, within friends and what have you, the ones that butt heads the most are the ones that are diagonal to each other. So the reds and the blues tend to get frustrated about each other because they're all about numbers, statistics and data. The reds are about people, right? The yellows rules don't, as long as we get it done, you don't worry about the rules. Greens are very methodical and you've got to do everything by the book. So it's really, really interesting. So if we work with a team and we understand that, we can change how we deal with that particular person to get better results. So when we do this in large organisations, it is really, really helpful. But you flip a coin, you do that with people that run small businesses, right? Every small business revolves around your ability to communicate with the people you're dealing with. If you've got a deeper insight into their personality and how you can deal with them, you'll get a lot better results. So this is part of what this exercise is about. And the deeper we learn about ourselves, the more influence we have on others. It's really interesting that when we've run it a couple of times in larger organisations, and when I've gone back in to see how it's gone, they said, I really loved it. It was fantastic. Since I've done the program, Tim has changed so much, right? Tim hasn't changed at all. I've understood how he thinks and how he operates. I've changed the way that I deal with him and I'm getting better results and we're actually getting on better because it's not personal. Right? Green and yellow, but on a personal level. Red and blue, but on a personal level. Right? So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to get, as Tim's sort of the lone green, I'm going to get him to give us a green example.
All right. So when I started looking at the cards, I immediately went to the uncomfortable side rather than the comfortable side. So dealing with disorganized people was the top of mind. So in in my business, we do renovation. So everything is scheduled. So if somebody pushes that schedule out, they're automatically disorganized, and that annoys me. And obviously taking risks without a very good reason for everything to do with what I do is analysing the risks of that renovation and making sure that whatever the risk was doesn't happen. And then I looked across onto the natural and comfortable sort of side, and having everything in control, especially in scheduled tasks, was one that I picked up on, and that's basically what my job is every day, to make sure. I'm a bit of a control freak as far as everything has to go smoothly, or I get annoyed.
Yeah. No, that's good. Fantastic. Thanks, Tim. We're going to move across to the right brain now. We're going to get someone from the Reds to give us a story about why you're in that corner and what got you in that corner.
Okay, well, looks like I'm speaking. Yeah. What a surprise. I guess I definitely identify with being sort of the carer. I've always been a sort of people sort of person. Well, not always, and that was something we were talking about actually. I think how I got to this point, which was maybe going a bit deeper, was at school, I was always the nerd. I was certainly not a popular kid. I wasn't one of the jocks. I was one of the, nerdy, unpopular kids who really didn't didn't have a lot of friends there, and I guess I dealt with that. And when I moved away from sort of school and went up to sort of uni, that next sort of level, and got away from all of that, I think I consciously changed. I wanted people to like me. I wanted people to like me back in high school, but now I had a chance to start afresh, and that's become my personality sort of all these many years later. So that was where I think I got to this position, and it's something that, as far as the business goes, we've always sort of subconsciously tried to employ those sorts of people, to the point where now, as you sort of most of the people here have seen in our one-page plan, we've made it a part of our business plan to employ people who are carers, who, as our statement goes, they give a shit, the people with gas. So yeah, that's a bit of our story.
Okay.
Enough there?
Anything else there from the other two?
Yeah, you're...
I've divided the 24 hours into 888. Some of us are 12, whatever. Yeah. But work is work, but it doesn't have to be unpleasant. And we spend a heck of a lot of time there. And so I'm very big on being comfortable, and everybody who we employ being comfortable in achieving the joint goal. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be unpleasant. It doesn't have to be hard.
No, perfect. All right, now we're going to move back to the left brain, and we're going to talk to the analysers and find out what got them in this corner.
Still working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I shared how I'm always going for the outcome, so find it very hard. If I'm having a conversation with someone or sending an email, I have to consciously warm it up as opposed to just going in for the kill. And I'm always analysing what people are saying. I don't think that makes me a great social butterfly. And Harrison immediately resonated with that and said, "Oh, that's me." That's me. But Harrison's got a bit of a multiple personality disorder.
100%.
because he resonates with so much on the yellow card as well.
I take on way too many projects, but I can follow through most of the time. I'm very impulsive. I take a lot of risks, and I'm very comfortable being creative, always on the edge, non-stop, and experimenting new ways and trying to brainstorm ideas the way out, innovations. So visualizing grand schemes and so on, like all that is me, 100%. So,
You should come over here.
yeah. But no, but
and again,
I'm still reading them because I'm analysing.
And see, that's the interesting thing. Sorry, I called you Florin before because you
Yeah,
sitting
no,
in
it's
front,
all right.
so it's Harrison.
This is
I was wondering where you got it.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's
Just
an
trying to
analyzer too.
confuse me. So part of it is that you're trying to analyse it, so you have got your blue card right. Okay, so it's really interesting. A lot of CEOs and leaders of businesses are either high blue yellow or yellow blue. So someone like a Richard Branson is very, very high yellow. He will take a risk at all sorts of things, but he understands numbers, he understands balance sheets, he can actually take a calculated risk. Someone like me that's high yellow that doesn't know numbers, if I take a calculated risk, it's like gambling. You know, it's sort of like, let's give it a go. Oh, that didn't work. You know, so yeah. It's all right. So we're going to move, and some of the things that you said about like trying to warm it up a little bit. And again, because blues, blues are about getting results. If there weren't blues in an organisation, they'd go broke. If I ran a session a few weeks ago for the Department of Communities. We had over 60 people, right? There was 40 odd ladies, and there was a couple of guys, but the majority of them were women in the red corner. But they, by the end of it, they agreed, and we had 3 blues. And they said without these guys, the business wouldn't run, right? So you need a mix. So one of the things that we say in the program, if I get this right, we don't have it all together, but together we have it all. So we're dealing with some recruiters at the moment, and just so you can use them one-on-one. So when they go in, someone goes in for a job interview, they just give them a set of cards and say, look, I'm Harrison, just have a read of these. I'm just finishing up the paperwork here, and just let me know what you are. Now, if you're going in for a PA's role or an administrative role, and you put the yellow card on the top, and then you put red, and then you put blue and green down the bottom, it gives me an indication that you're just looking for something as a stopgap, because it's not really, you know, and you haven't had to tell me anything. So you can use them very, very creatively as well. So anyway, I digress there, and I'm going to move across to the yellows.
For some support roles, green would be better because yellow, red might care too much.
Oh, totally, yeah.
So if you want someone who's really organised and yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, admin, you want someone that's high green to do all that EA, personal assistant, all that type of stuff. Fantastic. So yeah. Now the yellows are already getting bored. I can see them there. They're reading their cards. They got no idea what I'm saying. They're, come on, let's get on with this. So, come on, yellows.
Well, I wasn't 100% sure I was a yellow, but now I'm sitting here, I probably am a yellow, because I am curious, I'm impulsive, I like taking risks, I get bored quite easily. So, but I do like, I'm a bit blue, so I do like being organised and, you know, not analysing things to death, but having some basis of, you know, how you're going to make the decision. But I like projects and I do get bored, so that's probably me. Yeah.
It's a high yellow thing, you know, it's sort of like they see another shiny thing and they're, oh.
Yeah, well, my top two cards are the yellow and the blue, but I was attracted to the yellow because on the natural side it says that I like being centre of attention, so that's fair enough for me. Whereas for Donna, she was attracted by the uncomfortable parts of that. And for Alan, he told the story about the risk-taking. I mean, I think he fits the player on every one down here. Yeah. Told the story about when he went to Baghdad with a group of businessmen in the middle of the war. As soon as he got there, he packed his stuff away in the room and put his backpack out and went out in the streets to find out what was going on. Bombs going off everywhere. Yeah, a risk taker.
It's the natural thing to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There we go.
All right, now what I would like you to do now is move to your second card. Okay. Now, before we move, just be aware of the people around you, because not everyone's going to follow you. Okay. So, because they've got their own personalities, their own traits. So, and it is really, really important, and you get some really, really good insights, especially when you're working with a team. So let's just move to our second card. Interesting. God, there's one green in each group. Yeah. No. Now again, I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, right? But it's just interesting to sort of look around the room and see. So 3 of you from yellow have moved across. Tim's come down and Rob's. Oh, you guys were red. So you guys have followed each other, and you 3 have followed each other. Donna's gone that way. Yeah. So again, so when you're looking at a team, it's really, really interesting. As I say, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. The 2 cards we can actually get the greatest insights for ourselves are from our top card and our bottom card. Okay, because our bottom card that's the bit that infuriates us about other people. So we're going to spend a little bit more time on that particular one. So just have a quick look around that. Who's in our group, who's come from where, and then I'd like you to move to your 3rd card.
Third card.
Yep.
2 and 3 are a real toss-up.
Yeah.
But 1 and 4 are the easy picks.
Yeah.
You can easily identify your strengths and your weakness, but the layers are difficult. Indeed.
Yeah.
You sort of read it.
Well, it had to happen that we get a few greens eventually, and one blue. So again, it's sort of interesting to just have a look at how people have moved. So this has the greater benefit when everyone's from the one organisation, because especially how they interact and deal with each other. But you guys are all part of a group, so you can actually see, and from your own personality traits. And I'm sure that inside the Bob group, there's some sort of collaboration and where you help each other as well. So getting a better understanding of the people that you work with and associate with leads to other opportunities as well. So now what I'm going to do is get you to move to your last card, and then we'll do a few more, get people to do a little bit more activity on themselves in there. So let's move to your last card. Ah, yeah. Okay. Now, it's about this time in a session. I like to ask people, how many people in this room would have their partner in a completely opposite colour than themselves? Show of hands. So partner, so wife, life partner, if we've got one, or are they the same as us, or would we have them in a different than ourselves? Different. So can I just have a show of hands for people that would have their partner in a different colour than themselves? Right now. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it's pretty much all of us. There's one person that hasn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. And that's the bit that I was going to cover next, because it's really, really interesting. Now, again, we don't have any marriage guidance insurance, so but it's really interesting that opposites tend to attract. And then when you go through this, the reason that we're attracted to the person in the first place, because again, opposite attracts, and you go through it and people say, oh, they complete me, and they're the bit of my life that's missing, and all these different types of things. But over a period of time, what do we try and do?
Change them. Yep.
Change them to be...
Like us.
Okay? Now, again, don't get me wrong, I don't know the answers, but I just like to throw that out there just to get us thinking. Because quite often people go through this time where they have all these hiccups and they're not getting on, and not just with partners, I mean with work colleagues and what have you. And if they actually analyse it, they're trying to change them rather than just accepting them for the way they are. So again, I just throw that out there just to have a think about. The other thing that I would suggest to you, and I mention this all the time, I'll give you all a business card, and anyone wants to give me some feedback, that'd be fantastic. I say, when you go home tonight, do not hand them or give them to your partner, but just leave them on the table, leave them with your keys, leave them with somewhere that they're just going to pick them up and go, oh, what's this? And say, oh, we had this guy come in this morning and just go through this session with us. Interesting, if I have a look at them, what do you reckon I am? And then more importantly, what do you think you are? And I guarantee if you do it like that, you will have one of the best conversations that you've had with your partner in ages. And quite often, you can uncover and find something out that you never knew before, even if you've been with that person for 30 years. Right? And it never ceases to amaze me. Some of the people who have been with their partners the longest, when they go through this, I get an email off them and said, oh man, it was just fantastic. So again, not getting into a bit of red space here, but I'm just saying it is a really, really good exercise. Really good exercise. So give that a go. But what I want to do now, I'm going to leave you in your groups to have a chat about what it is about the colour you're standing at the moment that infuriates you the most about the other people, because that's your lowest card, and quite often the one that is a block in relationships, from a workflow, from a productivity point of view, and we tend to make it personal when we were talking with them rather than just having a conversation. So I want to leave you in your groups, and then when I bring you back together, I want you to tell me some stories about the things. So, like for instance, we had one of the guys when the Department of Communities, he was over there in the green. He said his brother-in-law is just high green. And he said whenever they have a family do, right, he will take side bets that he will leave a stubby holder or a glass just on the table or somewhere it's not supposed to be, how quickly he will not only pick it up, wipe it, clean it and put it in the bin. And he'll run a book on it because he knows that it infuriates them. Like sometimes a high green, they'll have you open their pantry door, all the labels will be the same way. Right. The other interesting thing is with the toilet paper. So over or under. So greens have got a definite view. 9 times out of 10, yellows don't care as long as there's toilet paper. You know, so it's the little things that can have a huge, huge impact. So have a talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to give you 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll come back together. And I'll jump in with Donna. Most of the people that we've done the cards with still have their cards years later. I mean, John's still got a set of the old original ones, right? They know what they are, right? And you can speak to someone 5 years later and they'll go, oh, I'm yellow, red, green, blue, you know, and my cards are around, you know. A lot of the women I deal with, they're still in the handbag, you know. So again, it's not saying this is an exact science. It's a tool that we can actually have a look at ourselves and go, oh yeah, you know, like even what you said about the 3-question threshold, and after that I give up on them and think, well shit, get your act together, right? That's nothing to do with them, that's about you. So how can I do that better? You know, so it's all those different types of things. It's improving how we interact and deal with people, right? So what I want to do, I'm going to move over to this group, but what I want you to do is come up with a couple of really key ones why the green frustrate the crap out of you, right? Just, you know, whatever it is. You know, there's something in there that you've spoken about that people do. I mean, I know what mine are. You know, and it's sort of because I'm a high yellow, and I discovered many moons ago my best trainer is high green, and we used to butt heads and frustrate each other until we actually did this, and I would go, oh Dan, I got a great idea, I want you to do bang 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 bang, and that was it. In my mind I thought I'd given her everything that she needed to know. She needs everything. You know, detail. I gave her no detail. The other way, she would go and see a client after a program, she would give me 2 pages of detail, and I'd go, what's the bottom line? Did they enjoy it? Yeah, but in there was some nuggets saying they were interested in this, that and the other, but did I read it? Whereas now she would give me bullet points saying, Andy, you need to phone Alan, he's got another 3 people that want training. Good, that's what I want to know. I don't need to know that all the fluffy stuff. So again, it's understanding what is important, and so take out the nuggets that are going to help us. So don't overthink it, right? And it's just, we are in our natural environment where we haven't got a care in the world and no one is watching us. That's where we reflect, and that's what we can get to. A lot of the other stuff is environment, it's our positioning, it's our work, it's everything that goes on. Right, and it's how we cope with those. So, and there's some really funny ones about the greens that come up in the last one, of, you know, how they were just, you know, again, one of the guys that with the cupboard, everything was in the right way, he'd go and turn them all around. The guy would nearly have a oh my God, and straighten everything up, you know. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So when I come back, I want you to come up with some stories about why greens why they infuriate you, because they're going to be doing the same with your high cover. And that way you'll get a bit of an insight. If they understand, that's when they go, oh, okay, maybe that is me. Maybe I do that. So that's what it's about. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Cool. Yeah. How's the Reds going? We come up with any?
The Latin Reds. Well, yeah, we're sort of we've moved off that.
That's all right.
We need to hire a psychologist.
Yeah. Well, so basically, what I want you to do in this one is, in reality, is come up with what frustrates the absolutely out of you.
House has vented plenty of that.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's good. So, good. No, that's good. That's the exercise, right? And as I was explaining to these guys, so the thing that because it's all around self-discovery, right? So if people can come up with things, so it's not about you guys, it's what frustrates you about the Reds. So then if they look at it and go, I see that, well, maybe I do that. It's not saying change what you are, it's saying change how you interact and deal with people.
The thing I'm sort of struggling with is, when I look at this in terms of my work and who I am at work and what we have to do, it's a pretty clear sort of view. When I look at it in terms of who I am at home, at work, with friends, it's a completely different situation. So,
well, that's really, so I just had the same conversation with these guys over here. So for instance, I'm high yellow, right? So turning up on time and what have you, for me, it's sort of completely out of the window. But in what I do, my business is around time and workload management and productivity. If I turned up late for an appointment, and especially to a blue, and if I didn't have my facts and figures, know what I was talking about and show people an ROI, I'm gone. So I've got my natural state that when I'm with my friends or when I'm on holidays and what have you, right? And then I've got the stuff that I need to do in my job. So it's really interesting. So the ones that are more like you is your natural state, the others are learnt, right? So for instance, like, with the green, a high green, before they go on holidays, and I've spoken to people that will do a dummy run to the airport in traffic and write down the times, and they'll double check their tickets, and they've got an itinerary. Whereas I've, exactly, Well, I'm exactly the same. So I'll turn up, and I remember years ago we had a holiday in Tasmania. We flew into Launceston. We got in there fairly late, and I said to the lady, "Oh, we've got a hire car." She said, "You didn't book?" And I said, "No." She said, "If you don't book and there's no cars, you're stranded." I said, "I understand that." I said, "Have you got any cars?" She said, "Yeah, we got one car." I said, "No problem then." I said, "I'll take it." And she said, "But how can you turn up not knowing?" I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Where are you staying?" I said, "I don't know."
It's like probability.
she was getting upset, and I'm thinking, what,
I had the same conversation with my accountant. He's like, "You need to do this, and this." And I go, "No, I don't.
Yeah.
When the time comes, the very last minute, when it's crucial, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But right now, I've got things to worry about. So I'll pay. I don't want to pay any tax. Just do my best. And I'll worry about it later." And he's like, "No, I don't."
No, perfect. So, all right. So I'm just going to move up to these guys, then I'll get all the group back together. But that's it. So I want someone to give some really examples of why a high red frustrates the whatever out of you.
Is this process as effective the second time you do it, once you've had a bit of time to think about it? Or is it
well, interestingly enough, I ran a session in December for an organisation that we did it 18 months ago. And I had 3 or 4 of the key people come and said they got more out of it this time. See, because what happens is, but it's the same with any type of training or anything that you do, right? So if you relate to movies, so if you've got a favourite movie, the second time you watch that movie, right, what happens is you're thinking, "Oh yeah, I know this bit. Wow,
didn't pick up on
I didn't pick on that, and sometimes you swear it wasn't in the original movie. Well, it was, but subconsciously we don't allow for it, so we're picking up new bits of information. So it's a little bit like life, It's sort of like definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So it's talking to people about how we can actually change and be more effective. So that's what we're looking at. So
I've done a lot of sort of different, psychological analysis at uni or at work. And I always find that with all the survey questions you go through, I end up being right in the middle.
But see, it's interesting that you say that, and I've cut you off there because I want to move to this group. Most of them, you've got to do a survey, and depending on your emotional state at the time in answering the questions, you can answer those questions differently. With the cards, if you're 100% honest with yourself, you can't lie. That's me. That's me. Right? So that's the difference. And also too, like I've done Harrison, I've done all of them. I wouldn't know where those reports are. I could probably find them or get a copy or what have you. Most people who've done the cards not only know what they are, but in 2 years' time, they've still got the cards in their drawer, or they refer to them, or they bring them out, or they're on their desk. Some women still have them in their handbag. It's real, but it's sort of like it's not a big report to say I'm blah 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 blah. Because people are not like that. There's a bit of all of us in there, and it's understanding. And there's what we are naturally, and there's what we have to do to comply in our work and all sorts of things. Because there's jobs that are blue, but not everyone that does a blue job is blue by nature. Right?
But do you start getting into the realms of, are you then best suited to do something else?
We're not. No,
that's like if you were saying, you're doing something that is not natural for you in terms of having to turn up on time, deal with numbers, show someone an ROI. You like, doing the sell, if you like. But you have to do a lot of things that are natural to you. So you start saying, what can I do that's just natural to me?
But to me, there wouldn't be a job, right? Unless so a mate of mine, Christian Fletcher, is a photographer. Right, he knows nothing about business and what have you. He loves taking photos and surfing. He got his brother-in-law, his brother-in-law and his sister to run. They do all the booking, the finance, the business side of things. He just surfs and takes pictures. So anyway, I've got to. Okay, so you guys have got some good examples of why yellows frustrate you.
Oh, yeah, that's easy.
Good. Right, let me.
So Tim can talk about that.
All right, okay, I'll get everyone back together.
Good to discuss as well. What personalities make the best salespeople or the best leaders?
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys, if we can get everyone back together. Hopefully, we've had a good conversation. So I'm going to start with the people that were at the green corner. As their worst colour, to give me some examples, or give the group some examples of the things that the Greens do that frustrate them. So who's the spokesman for the Greens?
Oh, thanks. I'll just give you my sort of experience. My wife's a Green and I'm a Red, so we're opposite.
Yeah.
Very much so, but we tend to work together. But yeah, the fact that I'm very much, look, it'll work out. Things will work out. However, we'll just solve it on the day. Whereas she's very much, if there's a problem, it's got to be solved now. We've got to work it out now, and it's got to be sorted out, even sometimes when there's no solution. So whereas I will just be like, look, she'll be right. We'll get through that. We'll work it out. But it's just like this need to solve the problem now and get it out of the way, and that seems to be a green trait.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
So who else was the lowest card was green? Okay. Are there any others in there that resonate or you want to share?
Along the same lines as Rob. Sometimes arrogantly, I'm just overconfident and I can solve anything in my field, so we'll just wing it on the day.
and where people I work with, Florian, my partner's like, Ed, you need to document everything you're doing.
Yeah.
You need to have a process.
We're in a very complex industry.
So that's an example of,
yeah.
of that. Which leads to issues with Alan reminded me of not being able to sort of have a finish point, go, I'll finish my job, or the client have an expectation of what they're getting.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. All right, so we're going to move away from greens. We're going to go to blue, and it's Donna on her own. So she's going to share why blues frustrate her.
Yeah, just everything has to be researched to death. So I say that I'm married to a blue, so he's the kind of guy that will look on Amazon for something, and I will just buy what's first up. No, we'll look at all the reviews, and then we'll verify all the reviews, and then we'll average out all the reviews, and probably still get to the same thing I was going to buy in the first place. So, but what I was saying, Hans, so I'm married to blue, my co-owners are blue, and most of my team and profession would sit on this side. So I really have to try hard not to expect them to do what I need them to do. So if I go into a meeting with them, they like logic, they like structure, it's point, they get to think about it. Don't tell them, 10 minutes, yeah, we're meeting, we're discussing this, and we're going to discuss this and that and that. So I have to really try hard to focus and adapt for that situation rather than just expect everybody to be. So when you were saying the running joke we had in our team meetings was somebody would say, ooh, shiny, when I'd kind of gone off on a different tangent because I was bored. So. Yeah.
Also too, like in some of the groups that we do it, some of the things that come out about the blues is can be very cold. It's all about facts. They don't take the people side into consideration. And again, with larger organisations, sometimes you've got to take that into context because they're making a decision based on keeping the business afloat rather than making a decision about how everyone's going to be happy and how we're going to do this, that and the other. Now there is a blend in there, but to an extreme, blues can be fairly cold. Andrea, even as Andrea said in some of the emails, she's got to try and warm them up a little bit, and it's a common thing. But see, the beauty about it is sometimes you have to be like that if it's a decision that you have to do. So then sometimes is email the best solution. You can actually have a conversation with someone and just let them know. So again, sometimes it's around the communication as well, but I'm not getting into that now. So that was a good one.
One of the things when they sort of did the whole risk piece of me coming out of Aberdeen and moving to Perth, and that was what the guys said, is what they're worried about is the ability to read people, because they were all in that, and they just think of numbers, and especially emails. You don't understand how that's interpreted if you're a different person. So that ability to read people and humanise.
Yeah. And some of the traits, like if you're talking to a red, they'll say, like, I feel. Sometimes a blue, they'll say, I think. So again, there's some little things that you can pick up in just conversation and how people are talking. So we've done green, blue, red. Harrison, I think you had a couple of things. He had a lot to say about why.
I guess as an analyzer, I analyze every single possible variable within the business. So when someone comes into the business with an emotional thought process based on their own spiritual or environmental ideas that they haven't got a lot of experience in because they haven't considered all the facts, and in their short time frame on this world, like because they've learned it at school or something or other, and they're trying to tell me how to run my business, I'm not interested. I mean, I'll listen to them.
More precise.
Tell me how you really feel.
So we do mobile car detailing, and a lot of the time I've had people on board, and instead of going, I'm not doing the job right, I need some help with some extra training or or whatever, they'll just bring their emotions into it and start saying, oh, you should be doing this or that, or have you thought about the environment more, or my own well-being, or da-da, instead of just basically doing the job that all the other people are able to do. So this becomes a lot of problems for me in a business sense. From a personal sense, it's different probably, like those people are great to have around for sure, but from a business sense it can create roadblocks in certain situations.
Yeah. Okay. No. Interesting. Anyone else from the red corner want to share?
Well, Florence actually has a really good cleaner that's a red.
Yeah.
we want her number.
Yeah.
She's very
I
caring.
mean, that's really interesting because, like, I built the business on that, so I don't have a lot of like leeway. Whereas, as some roles, there's a little bit of leeway. So if you have a cleaner that does care, it's better.
And I think that's what came out of it. But just going through the process, it's not black and white.
No.
It's colours.
Yeah.
And some roles are more suited to certain characters. So.
And see, also too, when you said you built a business on blue, if your business was just totally 100% blue, you wouldn't survive. You wouldn't be successful. We'd have to have, and that's what the beauty about it. In all of us, there's a mix. There's a makeup of these 4 different traits. So there's red in you, there's yellow in you, there's green in you, there's blue in you, and it's the percentages can vary. So it's getting to understand. So the whole idea of this is more self-discovery. It's more self-discovery. So now what I'm going to do, we'll do the last one. We'll move across, and I'll get Tim to give us some insights into why the yellows frustrate him. John. Yeah. Yeah.
If anyone noticed, those two were in complete opposite corners.
Yeah.
They're wrong, complete opposite. What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
So in other words, a perfect match.
Yeah.
Some detail.
Yeah.
They were just like that.
So I'll get John to share as well, but Tim, you're leading off.
I think the person that within my business that I probably clash with the most is a yellow, and it probably goes along the same lines as you two, where he is just very gung-ho. We'll go in, price up a job, come back, say we've got this job, and I'll say, right, well, where's the cop? And he'll be like, no, we'll just go and do it. It's easy. We just do it, and I'm like, no, we need to go back and I can see his face. Right, and then like just the analysis, it just isn't interested in the whole. He's interested in making the contact, winning the job, putting it in front of my face and saying, see, I've got you the job, and then I have to go and kind of clean it all up and work it. And then he's like, yeah, I told you we could do it. And I was like,
how have you communicated what you've just said to him?
How do I?
No, how have you, so what you've just said to us, have you communicated that to him at all?
Yes.
But in what context? From your right, and this is what it is, or?
So there's a distance I can't get to him.
So how would you go now if you sort of said, look, just as an example, look, I went to this session today. I've got a little bit of better understanding of how you operate. I want you to have a look at these, and then I just want to have a conversation with you about how we can actually do things better.
It did happen last week.
Yeah.
So now I've had to put procedures, like literally bullet points of everything you have to follow.
Yeah.
Before. So when he tenders for that job, I need to be CC'd so I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Any variations, any follow-ups, all that, and the costings I have to see. And then if the tender gets accepted, then we have to have a meeting that goes through, and we work backwards just to make sure that we haven't made a mistake. And then,
but also too, like understanding what you know now about him. If you make it too hard, he's not going to do it. So if you break it down and give him some simple instructions, and we're getting off, but what I'm saying is that once we actually understand we're the solution. He is not going to change, right? We're the solution, and that's the thing. That's the beauty about it. John, I'll get you to share as well, because it was interesting what Alan said there.
This is payback time. Yeah. I've had 3 business partners in my time. They were all high yellows. My nickname for the high yellows is the arsonist. You know, they go around lighting bushfires, and the green blues go around putting them out. You know, that's just how it is. But you need that diversity in business. You know, so I've been most successful when I've had somebody that's yellow working with me, because they will push me out of my comfort zone. They'll bring up new ideas, they'll bring things into the business. My job is to work out how to do it. You know, and you know, one of my ex-business partners very well, he would go off and he would sell something that was totally not part of what we did. And then he would come back and tell me, and I would, well, except he then learned that I need time to mull things over to work out how we can do. So my immediate reaction, right? But then 24 hours later, we'll come up with an idea. So, and that's, you need that diversity in business to make it successful. If it's too heavy in one thing, it's not going to work. Right? It's not such an arsonist as the previous two.
Wow. So the previous 2 must have been real fire starters.
They were real arsonists.
I can just reflect on that, because obviously Eddie and I, there's 2 of us here, and we are quite opposite, and we're in a very complex business, so there's lots of engineering detail and checklists. And the first book that John gave me was a book called The Checklist Manifesto, and I thought it was brilliant to help us with the sort of processes that we go through. And we met with Alan, and Alan said, guys, forget all that. and it's just really interesting, the process that we've been through, you know, and dealing with 2 opposite characters in consultancy, and how effective that's been for us to look at different parts of our strengths and weaknesses and work through those. So it's been really effective.
And on top of that, I was saying in the group that, like, we've got 3 business partners in the business, and we are 3 different colours. The one we're missing is a yellow. And Alan coming in as a yellow, as our business advisor, our mentor, has been the missing piece of the puzzle. He's literally lighting fires under our backsides, and we are working out how we 3 as business owners are going to actually deal with this. And we've, you know, stepped way out of our comfort zone because of that. And, you know, it's less comfortable, but it's probably a good thing. So yeah, it's interesting the way it's panned out based on what's already been happening.
If I can just get everyone to stand up, just for one last thing. All right. So left hand on your heart, right, and with this finger, right, say, I'm okay. So come on, I'm okay. It's just the rest of you lot. Okay, so I'm okay. It's just the rest of you lot that have got problems. Okay, and in reality, that's the way life is. So from our viewpoint, we're all okay, right? The way that you see it, this guy is wrong, you're right. In our viewpoint. So every single person views it as that we're okay and it's the other people. If we understand that we're the ones that can change the others, we'll have far greater successes, we'll have far greater relationships, and if we learn not to take things too seriously, that's going to be part of it. Look, I'd like to thank John for the opportunity of letting me come and talk to you guys. I don't generally do the presenting. I'm more the yellow guy that goes out and does the sales. I've got some professional trainers and presenters that come and do this, so but I enjoy doing it. I do it a lot of times for the schools. I do some mentoring in classrooms, and the kids just get it. They really, really get it. And I've done a few now to larger and business groups. But the beauty about it is it's part of a self-discovery. It's learning, and I'm learning all the time. You're learning till the day you die. And I think it's a great little exercise. If anyone wants to find out anything more about it, I've brought some business cards, but I've got a wristband for everyone as well. So I thought I'd bring these along. I wear it all the time, and it just keeps me on track that when I'm talking to customers and what have you, I can just reflect and change either my tonality or what I'm doing. And part of it is asking people questions and finding out. And you'll know very quickly, if you've got a high blue and you're trying to find out whether they're interested in football or what have you, they'll come back to the chase and keep you on track. You'll know straight away, don't go fluffy, just keep it all business. You'll have other guys that you can talk to them. If you find out that they're an Eagles supporter or they love the cricket or they love this, you can talk to them about that. If they're interested in their family or their kids, and you can have a fantastic conversation. 2 minutes is about business and you'll get the deal. You try and do that with a blue, you've shot yourself in the foot. Again, with greens, you find out the things that they're interested in. The more you relate, John asked me if I could share which colours make the best salespeople. I don't believe that there is a colour that makes the best salespeople, because I know some people that are blue that run the Clicks colours that are really, really good at what they do. I know some people who are reds that just get in there. I've got a friend of mine and she'll just give everyone a hug and how you going, doll, and she'll know everything about everyone. Some yellow. I mean, I'm yellow. Some of the best salespeople I know are high yellows, but some of those people create more problems for an organisation. So it's getting that mix. I sort of understand it because I've got to run a business. I'm really good at this side of things. I'm sort of high yellow red, and there's a crossover. I'm not really sure. So it's probably about 90% that. I'm a little bit that, and I'm probably 1% this. I'm absolutely, but I get people to do that. I do not need to do that. If I've got someone that I can trust and I can handle that side of the business over, and part of the key, I think, about being successful in your own business is understanding what you're good at and not doing everything. So that's why it is good to have a business coach or have a mentor or someone to keep you on track and someone to hold you accountable. Because in our own business, we all think we're all doing it great and we're not all doing fantastically well. So our business over the last 3 years, we're a training organisation. We're discretional spend, so it's been bloody tough. But I'm quite excited and upbeat that I've survived. I'm still here. We've been doing this for a long time, and 2018 has already started on a positive note. So hopefully that vein goes through to all you guys. Thanks, John and Alan, for the opportunity. I hope you guys have found it of value. I'm going to give you all one of these. If you want to take my business card, I'm not going to give them to you. If you want them, they're here, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation over a coffee with anyone in the room. So thanks, guys, and thanks, John and Alan.